Good morning. All right, let me just make sure. All right. Patty's here today. She's teaching and she's using a 3-pound weight today, right? Just one.
No, 2 pounds.
Or 2 pounds. Sorry, 2 pounds.
You can do 3 pounds.
You can do 3.
Did you want one just in case?
You're good.
Okay. I may not be using weight.
Oh, yeah.
You can do this without weight. Oh, we don't get our big screen. No.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Happy Monday. We're going to get started. We're going to start on our knees in a quadruped, so don't even get up.
Yay.
All right. So I'm going to have my fingers really wide, okay, and wrists underneath my shoulder. Lengthen the spine, pull the shoulders away from the ears. Make sure you're in a neutral spine. Good morning. And then push away from the floor as you tuck and curl. Okay. And then inhale, lift the chin, pull the shoulders down, push the ribs open, and exhale. And inhale. We're going to do 2 more. And maybe you get bigger, a little looser, more flexible. Really push down into those hands. And then 1 more exhale. And then come to that neutral spine. So from here, we're going to shift forward and shift back, okay? So it's nothing crazy. You're going to shift, pull the shoulders down, look over the edge of your mat, and then push back, sit into that child's pose. Walk your hands forward. And then with a neutral spine, come up, shift forward, pull those shoulders out of the ears, pull the belly tight, and shift back, sit to the heels, reach the arms away. 1 more time. Shift. Pulling the belly tight and sit back. And we're going to come up to that quadruped position and we're going to do that thread the needle. So first, I'm going to take my left hand out to a T, okay? And I'm going to open up my arm to the ceiling. It could be your right hand too. And then thread underneath the chest and drop the shoulders down to the mat or that shoulder. Uh-oh. And I want you to push into that forward hand and really open up that upper back. And then come back up, reach out to that T, open the arm up to the ceiling, keep the belly tight, thread under, drop the shoulder, push into that supporting hand, lengthening that bottom arm. And then we're going to come back to that neutral. We're going to do it on the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to reach my right hand out to a T. Okay, I'm going to open up to the ceiling, reaching my fingers up to the sky and thread under, drop the shoulder down and really push that opening, kind of upper back, push it open, and then come back up to that T, look up to the ceiling, thread the hand under. This is your last one here. Get that big stretch in the upper back. We're doing arms today. And come back to your neutral. Okay. So from here, I'm going to walk my hands a little bit forward. I'm going to keep my fingers as wide as I can. Okay, for me, a little internal works. I'm going to come up into a plank and I'm just going to hold it. So I want you to warm up today. Little bend in the shoulders, pull the, elbows, pull the belly up. If you feel strong, you drop the pelvis down a little bit. If you feel it in your back, you lift a little higher. Soften those elbows. Don't let those shoulders creep up to the ears. Pull the belly in, pull the ribs together. And hang on for dear life. Keep breathing, by the way. Don't hold your breath. And let the knees come down to the mat. Open them up wide. Shift back to that child's pose. We're going to add on to that. So coming back up to that kind of quadruped lengthened position. Extend the legs long, come up into your plank. All right. So my legs are kind of in line with the hips. My shoulders are down, my belly is tight. I'm going to lift my right leg up. And I'm going to set it down. And I'm going to lift my left leg up, squeezing my butt, keeping my hips still. I'm going to go back to the right. I'm going to drop it down. Keep that belly tight. You can do this on your elbows, by the way, modified. And I think it's harder. And we're going to land with the left leg up. We'll set it down. We'll drop down to the knees. Sit back to that child's pose. Just a little warm up. Coming back up to that quadruped position. You're not done yet. Come back into your plank. All right. So from here, I'm going to start with my left leg. So get into that plank form, right? Little bend in the elbows. Neck is long. I'm going to lift my left leg up. I'm going to shift forward, pushing into my right foot. Shift back. Set it down. I'm going to lift my right leg. Squeezing the butt, shifting. Shift back, set the foot down. I'm going to have you go 2 more each side, okay? Take a break if you don't want to do this. Maybe try for 2 sets. If it's too much, shift. We got 1 more to go. Trying to warm up that upper back too. Think of that upper back. And last one on the right, shift, come back, set the knees down, sit back. You did beautiful. Sorry. Come on back up. I'm going to have you sit, and we're going to sit with our knees bent to start. And I'm going to have you take that weight. So we'll just do a little bit more abs, and then we'll end up standing to do some arms, okay? So knees are bent. We're not going to roll all the way down, just to kind of stretch, okay? So hands behind the knees, sit up tall. Curl yourself back. Arms are as long as they can be, right? That should kind of be your point where you engage, right? Come up using the belly, exhale, sit up tall. Curl it back, exhale. Drop the shoulders, pull the navel to the spine, and curl it up. So I'm only going as far as my arms extend. Curl. Pull the belly down, and curl it up and sit up tall. I'm going to have you extend the leg. All right, so we're going to take our weight, okay? So weight adds a little bit to the core, okay? So I'm going to extend my arms long. My legs are just hip distance. I'm going to scoop the belly and curl back. And maybe you go a little bit farther and pull the belly back as you curl yourself up. So thinking more of that spine and the flexibility there, curling, maybe going as far as you feel like your feet are going to lift right off the floor. Maybe go a little deeper, pause, okay? So I'm going to take the weight in my left hand. I'm pulling my belly in. I'm going to open the left arm out, pulling the right side down, opposite oblique. Bring it back. Open that right arm out to the side. Left is reaching forward. If you need to come up out of this curl or bend the knees, do that. You should feel that opposite oblique kick in to keep those hips still. 1 more on the left. Ooh. And 1 more on the right. You are doing it. And curl yourself up. Oh, so much fun. Okay, set the weight down. We'll stretch. Okay, so thinking of that spine, kind of relax the spine. Let the vertebrae open up. Maybe holding the toes, the shins, whatever feels okay. And then rebuild the spine and sit up tall. We're going to take the weight back in our hands. Actually, let's try it without the weight and then we'll add the weight. It'll be fun. All right, so our arms are going to come forward, okay? Straight up. You're seated like your back is against the wall. I'm going to have you open up the legs the width of the mat, okay? And then you're going to rotate toward the left side. Doesn't have to be big. Shoulders, head centered. Curl back on the right side, okay? Opposite diagonal, right? And curl it up, reaching to that left side. Curl it down. So we're staying in this little diagonal kind of curl. And come on up, sit up tall. Curl it back. So I'm reaching for my left foot, curling down on that right side. Come on up. That was 3. I'm going to have you go 1 more. Belly is tight, hips are still. Little oblique work here. Okay, we're going to rotate to the right, and we're going to do it on the other side 4 times. Right? Curl, keeping that right hip down as I'm reaching for that right foot. Sit up tall, and I'm staying in this rotated position. There's 2. I wiggle my feet a lot. Did somebody say, oh God? Yeah. Okay, and go back to center. Everyone at home, I hope you're laughing. All right, so we're going to take the weight in the center so my palms are rotated to each other, okay? You're going to sit up tall, just a little added weight here. So if you don't like it, drop the weight. So we're up against a wall with our spine. We're going to rotate to that left foot, okay? Now we're we're gonna curl down on the right. We're gonna rotate, or sorry, yep, rotate to the right and curl up on that right side. We're gonna curl down on the left side, sorry. Rotate to the right, left, oh shoot, and sit up tall. So we're just kind of switching from side to side. Come over to that right, curl it up. I want you to feel every muscle kind of kicking in here to stabilize, reaching to the left. Let's go one more time each side. Sit up tall, curl it back, rotate toward that right toe, sit up tall. Here's your last one. Curl it back, rotate to the left and curl back on the left. Good job. Take a break, okay? All right, there we go. So from here, reaching the weight forward, we're gonna curl down. This will be more of a stretch. So curl over the thighs, really bend or curl that spine. My arms are gonna go long, kind of hovering over my shins. Weight is in the center of the hands. Now I'm gonna flatten the spine out, lengthen, pushing the hips behind you. Come up tall, arms up. They don't have to go all the way up if it doesn't feel good, okay? Curl over the thighs. Pull the navel in, reach for the toes, really get that big reach, pulling the belly back, flatten out the spine, and come up nice and tall. We're gonna go 3 more like that. Arms come down. You should feel your arms, by the way. Curl, or shoulders maybe. Reach through the fingers, flatten the spine, come up tall. Arms go right out in front. Curl, reach for the toes, pull the belly away, open up that spine, flatten the back. Come up tall. Can we go one more time? Yes. Not bad, right? Curl, pulling the belly back, reaching for the toes, lengthen the spine, chin comes up, and arms come up long. And there we go. Okay, a little warm up in the shoulders, right? Maybe a little here when you come to a standing. So I'm going to set my weight down, and I'm going to bend my knees, press myself up to a standing position. And I'm going to go into a Pilates B, and we're going to start some arms. We'll come back and revisit abs a little bit. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go into that Pilates B, okay? I'm going to squeeze my inner thighs together, and I'm going to take that weight in my right hand, okay? So all I want you to do here is as we bend the knees, and they're going to stay over that first, maybe second toe, pulling the knees away, we're going to open the arm to the side. So you're going to bend, open, keep your belly tight, and press down. Inhale, and by the way, no weights are necessary here. Push off the floor, belly is tight. Inhale, just warming up the knees. Bending deep is up to you. Keep the heels on the floor. I want you to feel a stretch in the back side. There's 3. Keeping the ribs pulling in. Neck is long, shoulders down. And last one. Now we're going to do it with the heel lift. Oh. Okay, so if you feel unbalanced today, maybe you had a little to drink over the weekend. I don't know. I'm going to stand on the floor because I don't want to mess up. Okay. So from here, I'm going to squeeze my inner thighs. I'm going to lift my heels and maybe adjust a little. And I want you to think head right in center of the shoulders and above the tailbone. Okay. We're going to open up that arm to a T and close it. Keeping those heels lifted, squeezing the butt, squeezing the inner thighs. And belly is tight. So there's a little balance for you today. Your challenge, squeeze those inner thighs, squeeze the glutes. Let's go for 4, reaching through the fingers, having to stabilize through the core. 2, and 1. Good, and lower the heels down. We'll switch sides, we'll repeat, okay? So just the left arm, right arm stays at the hip, okay? Again, no weights are necessary. As you bend, reach the arm to a T. You don't have to lift your heels yet. I know, it's coming. So remember, pulling those knees back, squeezing the inner thighs, pushing away. I like to push through my heels. Okay, try not to hinge forward. And then we'll go for 5. Reaching through the fingers and just warming up the knees. And here's 3. Inhale. Push away from the floor. Keep the belly tight. 2. Press that arm to the hip. 1. And hold it. We're going to releve. So lifting the heels, squeezing, adjusting if you need to. Pull the inner thighs, the buns together. Beautiful. You're straight up. Okay. So arm is going to lift and lower. Now we're trying to stay balanced, and one side might be different. So there's kind of this cross body thing going here. So shoulders over the hips. 4. And really lift, kind of lifting from that arm. You got 2 more. Reach of the arm and height of the arm is up to you. Here's your last one. Squeeze the butt. And lower down and pause right here, okay? All right, I'm gonna come back to my mat. I'm gonna go into a wider position, okay? So from here, same thing. As I bend into my knees, I wanna make sure my knees are almost pulling back, some more weight in the back, little pinky toes, okay? Belly is tight. So from here, I'm gonna rotate the palm out, okay? So I've got the weight in one arm. I'm gonna reach both arms out to a T, lifting that right arm up or left, whatever you want. Squeeze, butt, push away. Shoulders are pulling down and you're reaching through those arms. Belly is tight. So for 3. If you didn't want to use weight, you could still make this work. Sit straight down as you bend. And 1 more. And switch sides, okay? So from here, same thing. Both arms are opening as you bend into that plie. So bend, T, push. Inhale. 5. Pushing away from the floor, using weight more in the heels. Sometimes I like to lift my toes, so I want you to get your butt working here. 2. And 1. And pause right there. We are going to come back down. We're going to roll down, keep the weight in your hands, okay? So I've got the weight in between. My fingers are my palms. My feet are wider. I'm just going to let my head drop, okay? I'm going to roll down. And when my hands come down to the floor, I'm going to put my weight aside and I'm going to sit. That's all. All right. So from here, we're going to extend the legs long, take that weight in the hands, reach those arms forward, sit up tall, belly is tight. Okay, so we're going to curl down right through the center. Okay. We're going to reach the arms out to the right side, pulling the left hip down, circle up, around, to the left, come back to center, scoop the belly, sit up tall, and curl it back. We'll start on the left side. Reaching over to the left, pulling the shoulders down as the arms come up, and switching. Oops, come center and curl down. Curl it back. We're going to the right. That curl back for you is only as big as you want to make it. Center, curling up, sitting tall, curl it back. Reach to the left, circle up and around overhead. Circles don't have to be big. And curl up. Okay, one more time. We're going to stay down. Curl. So get that belly engaged. Okay, so I'm going to start on my left, reaching over and rotating. I'm staying in my curl for this, reaching up and over, coming center. Going to the right, up and over to the left and come center. We're going left. Feel kind of that movement in the abs, adjusting from side to side. It's fun, right? That's what you wanted out of my day. Okay, one to the left. And one more to the right. Remember those shoulders and that belly is tight. And curl it up. Oh, you did so good. Good job, ladies. Up the right side. We're going to scroll ourselves down and just come down to the mat. Okay, I'm not going to have you roll up again. So get yourself adjusted, sit up tall, pull the belly back. Ribs are tight. Start with that exhale, belly pulling to the spine, and just start to shift to the back side of the pelvis. Now here's your critical part, right? One bone down at a time in that lumbar spine. And arms reach up, and I'm gonna adjust myself. So I'm scooching. Okay, so from here, you're gonna keep the head down, okay? I want you to neutralize the spine. I want you to feel heavy in the back of the pelvis, and my arms are going to come a little wider, okay? So open up the shoulders, bring the knees up to a tabletop, okay? So nothing in my spine is changing shape. So I'm really flattening out that lowest part of my belly, pulling my ribs in. I'm going to extend my legs. I'm going to flex my feet. And I'm just going to have a little space between, okay? So my neutral spine will stay neutral. So I'm going to drop my right leg down, my left stays up, and I'm going to bring it up. And I'm going to drop my left, and I'm going to bring it up. Keeping the belly as tight as you can. Let's exhale on the up, Inhale, shoulders stay open. As soon as the leg lowers, find the spot where you're not changing the shape of the spine, okay? I've got that neutral spine, one more each side. And left. Good, and pause right here, pull the knees into the chest. So when you're doing this work, try to stay out of the thighs and shift the work to the belly, okay? I'm gonna extend my legs up to the ceiling again. I'm gonna flex and open the shoulders up, wide in the chest, wide collarbones. I'm gonna open my leg to the right, keeping my left hip down. I'm gonna exhale, pull it back. I'm gonna go to the left and exhale, bring it up. So stay out of the quads, turn on the belly, and right, and left. I'm gonna bend my knees, set my feet on the floor. We're gonna do it again with a chest lift. All right. So I'm gonna take my hands, palms up, and then cradle my head in the hands. I'm gonna interlace my fingers, keeping my elbows wide. I'm gonna bring my knees up to a tabletop to start. I'm gonna get myself organized in my backside. So pelvis heavy, belly tight, ribs pulling in and extend the legs up. On an inhale to prepare, you're gonna exhale, curl your chin to your chest. If you don't wanna do this, stay down and we'll do it. You'll do it again, repeat the series. So my butt is down and heavy, my ribs are tight, my hands are cradling. I'm gonna drop my left leg. I'm gonna pull it up. And I'm kind of floating that leg. So I don't want you to feel like the leg's doing any work, okay? And if the hips can't stay still, maybe make the movement a little smaller. We'll go for 3 on the right. Well, here's our start, 3 on that left. Okay. Belly is tight. 2 starting with the left. Curling up a little deeper. And here's your last one. Good, but you're gonna stay up, okay? Pause right here. I'm gonna start on my left side. I'm curled up, my belly's tight. I'm gonna open that left leg. Oh, it's so hard. You wanna keep that pelvis from tipping. So keep the low belly tight. Inhale. Yes. And 2 more each side. Keeping the hips still. Lift a little higher in the chest. Pull the ribs down. And last set. Right. Bend the knees, set the feet down and roll yourself down. You did beautiful. All right. Yes, you did. Let's add some rotation. Yes. Okay. So I'm nice and comfortable. I'm getting my spine aligned and adjusting, bringing my knees to tabletop, keeping my ribs tight and closed. Belly is tight. Arms are a little wider. I'm going to take my legs back up to that extension. I'm going to take my hands behind my head, pull my ribs tight, and I'm going to lift my chin to my chest. And from here, I'm going to take my left arm out to the side, and I'm going to keep my right leg extended as I lower my left. So left is lowered, left arm out, okay? I'm going to reach to the right, so that left arm reaching to the right outside leg. Now I'm going to bring the legs up, cradle my head. Now I'm going to reach the right arm to the outer part of that calf. And I'm going to come back up both hands, rotating and reaching the opposite hand to the outer part of the opposite leg. Yes. Good. And reach. So as you reach, maybe looking to the floor, trying to bring that opposite shoulder toward that thigh. So we're going to hold it on the right, hold it here. We're going to scissor. Looking down to the floor, keeping the hips still, belly tight, right arm cradling, and we are rotated to the right. 2, 1. Extend both legs to the ceiling, cradle the head. Stay lifted, you guys. Lighten those legs, okay? Drop that right leg down. Right arm comes to a T, reach to the left. Rotate, look to the floor. Now back to center and reach. Oops, we want to rotate to the other side. Yeah, we do. Sorry, ladies. Alternating. And center and reach. Sorry. Okay. Last one on the left or right. We're going to go to the left and you're going to hold it. Look to the floor, belly tight, scissor. Reaching over to the left, looking down to the floor. Keep the hips still. Right when I said that, I wobbled. 2. Reach. 1. And come back to center, tabletop the legs, roll it down. Beautiful, ladies. All right. Here we go. All right. So from here, keeping the belly tight, we're going to bring the legs to a tabletop. We're going to open up the legs. We're going to bring the arms up to a T, or sorry, up to the ceiling, shoulders down, belly tight. We're going to rotate over to the right thigh. Left arm goes through center, reaching out to the right. Come on down. I want you to take that full stop. We're going alternating sides. And reach. Roll it down. And reach. Roll it down. One more on the right. Try to lift from the crown of the head up and over. And pause, okay? Hopefully your weight is handy. Grab it. Okay, back to that tabletop. We're going to take the weight in the right hand, okay? So I'm going to rotate just like I did, but now we're adding weight. I'm going to rotate to the right, reaching that weighted arm farther away. And I'm going to lower down, switching sides, switch the weight. Reach. Roll it down. Reach. Roll it down. Reach. Roll it down. Reach to the right. And here's your last one. To the left and hold it on the left. Pulse it up. Pulse. Pulse. Trying to lift from the center of the chest. 3, 2, 1. Roll down. Weight comes to center and switch the hand. Roll up to the right. Pause. Reach that right arm as far as you can and pulse. You got 3 more. Little tiny pulses. Last one. Roll it down. Find tabletop with the legs. Just take a break. All right. Okay. All right. So let's bring our legs, cut it together, knees together, feet together, arms wide. Palms can go up, down, whatever you want. Open the shoulders. So we're glancing, kind of eyes up to the ceiling. Chin has a little tuck. Drop your knees to the right. Oh, I got a big crack. And exhale. Pull the belly tight to get those knees back to center. Go the other way. Belly is tight. Inhale to the right, drop the knees, pause, okay? Let those knees kind of settle. Let the legs relax. You'll feel a bigger twist if you breathe into it. Now add that head turn to the left. Little tiny weight in the head, maybe the back side as you turn. As the head comes back to center, pull the belly tight, bring the knees up, go the other way. So we're going to drop the knees to the left and just hold it here. Shoulders are connected to the mat. Knees are settling. Now I'm going to turn my head to the right with just the tiniest little pressure at the back of my head. And you don't even have to put pressure. And exhale, back to center. We're going to widen up the feet. We're going to bring the arms along beside us, okay? So from here, we're going to bridge. So we'll start with the kind of low back opening with those tips. So I want you to stay out of the legs. Don't push into the feet for this first part. You're going to pull the belly to the floor. On an exhale, the tailbone will tip up and the hips will kind of rock back, right? And then inhale. But I want you to stay out of the feet, okay? So I want the belly to do all the work. And you'll get a little bigger here. We'll go 3 more. Exhale, pull the belly in. Inhale, release. Here's 2. Maybe you're getting a bigger push down into the floor because you're really trying to imprint, right? Here's your last one. All righty. So we're going to start with that move. So that kind of pelvis rocking back. Shoulders are open. I'm going to go up into a bridge. We'll do 4. So imprint first into the low back. Now peel the tailbone up. Try to keep those knees stable. Squeezing the buns together. Reaching the knees over the toes. And roll it down. And when you get to that kind of lower part of your back above the pelvis, really slow it down. That feels the best. Okay, here's 3. Exhale. Squeeze the butt. Push the pelvis. Pull the belly away from the hips. Roll it down. We're trying to do this kind of keeping that belly tight, squeezing up so you stay out of that low back. Maybe if you're really pushing from the glutes up. And here's your last one. Go up. Hold it up and pause, okay? So I'm going to have you shift weight over to that left foot. You're going to try to keep the hips stable. Pull the belly in, squeeze the butt, bring the right leg to a tabletop, okay? You're gonna open it to the right. And you're gonna close it. So you're trying not to let that right hip dip, and you're pushing down into that left foot. Oh, you guys are so good. Last one, but it's not your last. You're gonna drop the knee down, open it up to the side, circle it up. Remember the hips, right? We're gonna go 3 more, kind of stabilizing with that left side, trying to keep my hips and my legs still. Last one here. Keep that belly tight now, open out and bring it in. And up. Keeping that right hip lifted. One more. Bring that leg to tabletop, set the foot down, adjust if you need to, and roll it. Woo! Bring those knees into the chest. We got the other side to do. So rock side to side. Bridge can be high or low for this, as long as the pelvis just stays still. So if you get into your back, don't go so high. All right, so my knees are into my chest. I'm just gonna let them tip forward, feet come to the floor. That's kind of your bridge position. We're gonna take that inhale. We're gonna curl our tailbone up, pushing down into the heels, keeping those shoulders wide and really squeezing the backside. Belly tight, lift that left leg up to the ceiling. Keeping the left hip as still as you can, open it and bring it back. Trying to stay stable. Maybe this is your smarter side. Belly tight. I feel way more stable on this side. 3, keeping the hips still. 2, 1, and pause. You're gonna dip the knee down, open it up, and bring it back in. 2, 1. Bring it up, reverse, open out, down, up through center, open, shoulders wide. One more, squeeze the butt. Put that foot down, adjust and roll down. Bring the knees into the chest. Okay, I'm gonna roll over onto my right side so I can face everyone. And I'm gonna extend my arm long. So actually, here you have 2 options. So you can extend that arm long, all right? Or you can bend the elbow, cradle the head. You want to feel like you're gonna be as straight as you can. So I'm gonna extend my legs. I'm gonna lift up my waistline, right? My ribs, okay? And I wanna kind of think of shifting that top hip, like almost reaching that top leg farther. There's gonna be some balance here. I'm gonna hover my legs, flex my feet. I'm gonna lift that bottom leg. Good. Trying not to let my hips move, okay? Trying to keep that little light waistline. Think of that little kind of tunnel under the waistline. Good. Trying to keep the hips from rolling back. Last 3, 2, trying to stay still. Everyone looks so good. Hold it up. Toes are pointed to that opposite wall, and I'm gonna pulse. Keeping that belly tight, keeping the lift. 5, 4, belly tight. 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Take a break. All right. All right. Here we go. Straight as an arrow. Right. I'm going to take my legs and I'm going to bring them into that kind of clam position. Okay. So my heels are together and my bottom heel is lifted. I like it that way. I'm going to squeeze my heels together, lift from that rib cage, squeeze the knees closed and open. So my bottom foot is kind of supporting me, okay? Push those heels, and we're trying to keep the hip from rocking back. Stack, you want it stacked over the bottom hip, okay? Push into the heels to open. You're squeezing that top glute, keeping the ribs tight. And 3. Belly tight, 2. And 1. Good, and pause. And have you come up onto the elbow, and we're going to lift the hips up. Our knees are bent, okay? So from here, I want you to support, cradle that head with the bottom palm, right? And my my waistline is lifted, okay? So let's just do a couple practices here. So I'm as long as I can. My heels are in line with my tailbone. I'm going to drop my ribs and pull them up, okay? So when you drop, I don't want you to use your hand to lift the ribs. Think of this though. I want you to try to pull the ribs up, not using the hands. Okay. There we go. So I want you to think of that position because we're going to come up onto the side of our knees, okay? Heels are together. I'm going to lift my hips. All right. Oh, so much fun. So remember this bottom. Fingers, palm. This is upper back. This is shoulders, okay? So my heels are pushing together. Now my toes are. I'm going to squeeze my knee close. I'm going to pull it up. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the belly tight, the spine long. Hands can support you on the floor, or we can go to this position. Yes. As my knees close, I'm going to dip my hip down. As they open, I'm going to lift. Belly is tight. Nice and slow. Inhale. Lift from that bottom sideline. 2. Ready? 1. Hold it. Pause. Lift the leg up. Oh, here comes this circle. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Bottom leg should be feeling it. And reverse. Trying to keep the hips still. 3, 2, 1. And drop it down. Beautiful. Oh, you hung in there. We're going to flip sides. Bottom leg gets into that too when we're lifting our hips, but also bottom obliques, right? All right. That's wrong. So remember, bottom arm can go long or support the head. All right, so let's get into position. So we're straight as we can be. We're flexing our feet, and this top hip is kind of reaching away from our shoulder. I'm gonna hover my legs, pull my belly tight, keep this waistline lifted. You should feel this side waist now because of the work we did. Okay, squeeze it up. Squeeze using the top butt cheek, pushing that hip almost forward so it doesn't roll back. 2, 1, and let's pause with the leg open, toes to the opposite wall, and pulse it up. What's coming next? Long, long spine, belly tight. 2, 1, hold it. We're going to circle.
Oh, we did circle on the other side.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Oh, no. Okay, stop. I thought we did. Okay, lower down. Wow. All right. We circled somewhere in here. All right. We're going to bend our knees in. Sorry, babies. All right. I'm nice and comfy, right? I'm going to get into that clown position. So I like to kind of wrap my toes around on that bottom foot so they're supporting me. And my knee is going to close, pushing into the heel. I'm going to open. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So keeping that top hip from rolling back, keeping yourself supported, using your core and rib cage lifted. You want to warm up those obliques. Squeeze those heels. 3. 2. Okay, Cindy, tell me what to do. Open. Lifting up that leg, right? Yes, we did this. Here's where the circle's coming. All right, circle. Keep those hips still. If you need to use your hand, do it. And 1, and belly tight, keeping the hips still. 2, and 1, and bring that leg down because we're coming up to the elbow. Right? And if you don't like coming up this way, don't do it. But I am trying to work upper back here, okay? Because is summer coming yet? No. All right. All right, so upper back, really strengthening that upper back. So stacking the knees, feet are stacked, heels in line with that tailbone. And we're going to go into that kind of light lift. So you're going to drop the ribs down to the mat, kind of getting that curl. And then a gentle lift using that bottom waistline. So as I lift, I'm thinking, bring the top of my bottom hip closer to my bottom rib. Lift, belly is tight. And last one, lift it up, okay? We're coming up onto our knees. We're going to lift our hips up from the floor right here, okay? Yes, and I'm going to line myself up. So from here, I'm going to bring my leg up kind of into this elevated clown position. I'm tight on that bottom waistline. My neck is long, cradling my head. I'm going to close my knee. Squeeze it open. Inhale, exhale. Keeping that belly as tight as you can. Squeeze. Squeeze. No, let's do 3, 2, and 1. Hold it up there, right? We're going to drop the hip now as we close the knee and push using that bottom waistline, pushing that top hip forward, squeezing the butt. We circled here too. I know we did.
Yes.
Circles here. Two, open, sorry. And hold it up here. If you need to drop the hip, do it. Lift, elevate, circle. Keeping the hip still. 2, 1, and reverse. 3, 2, 1. Bring the heels together, drop it down, and take a break, right? All right, ladies. We hit those obliques today. Okay, now some more. All right. So you're coming up to a seated, but we'll stretch first. All right. So let's go into that kind of pretzel position that I know if you're flexible, it's okay. Sometimes it's harder for non-flexible. So you have some options. You can always extend the legs longer. It's really about the rotation. All right. But trying to get into that hip too. So as soon as I get my legs in this kind of pretzel, I'm going to sit the hip down of that bent knee. Okay. I'm going to take my hand to that right knee with my left hand and rotate around. As I rotate, push that hip down on the side you're rotating toward and pull the knee. You should feel like a stretch in this glute, right? Down the spine and come back to center and switch sides. All right. Depending on how flexible you decide. So as soon as I get myself all organized and in position, I shift my hip down, draw my knee in with my right hand on the outside of the left, reach around, okay? So settle the shoulders, set them, pull them down. Now sit even deeper into that opposite or left hip as you draw the knee in, sit up as tall as you can, rotate it, pushing that butt to the floor, and come back to center. Okay? All right, ladies. I'm going to come up to a standing, okay, and I'm going to have myself at the edge of the mat. All right, so I'm going to roll myself up nice and slow. And I'm going to stand up tall with my feet maybe just a little wider than my hips, okay? So from here, I'm going to roll down. I'm going to let my head lead the way, crown of the head, putting weight in my heels so my hips are trying to stay over my ankles. Hands are coming to the floor, okay? Draw yourself in and let the spine release and just make this kind of pull behind the legs as deep as you want. And then let the hands go, tuck the chin, look up to the navel as you roll yourself up, rebuild the spine. Weight for me is in my heels. Shoulders down, chin tucks, belly tight. This time we're gonna walk ourselves out, okay? So when we get out to this nice big long plank, you have some options. And we're going to start with one of them and we'll kind of graduate. So I'm going to just let my knees come down, okay? And you should be kind of on the front of that knee, all right? I'm going to lift my feet up and I'm going to push my hips into my kind of modified plank, okay? And I want my fingers as wide as they can be. And I'm going to reach them kind of forward, right? Starfish the hands. We're going to inhale, bend, pulling the elbows toward the rib cage. Push into that heel of the hand. It's funny how my fingers are lifted. I get more work if I'm pushing away from the heel of the hand, just like when I'm standing. Inhale. Keeping my shoulders down. So as I bend, I want to look over my mat. I want to inhale, and I'm talking to give you guys let you be occupied while we're doing this. Hold it down and pause. Adjust. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Pulse it down. You should feel your triceps. Belly is tight. 3, 2, 1. Push away from the floor. Sit back because your knees should be a little bit wide. If it feels okay. And we're going back up. So come on back up. Okay, I'm going to walk my hands just a tiny bit forward of my shoulders. Tuck my toes. You can stay in that modified plank if you want. I'm going to internally rotate my fingers. Okay, I like it this way. Pull my shoulders down and get myself up into that plank. Okay, so adjust and organize. So now my fingertips are rotated internally. My shoulders are pulling down. My collarbone is wide. My belly is tight. Inhale as you bend. And remember, the depth of your bend is up to you because it's still a ton of work. Right? Inhale, bend. Keep the belly tight. So we're just kind of dropping the chest to the floor. We're in this plank. I'm going to go 3 more. There's 2. What a fun way to end class, right? Last one, hold it, hold it, hold it, static hold, belly tight. Oh, push away. Sit back to child's pose. Oh, good job, ladies. So I'll have you guys, we'll stretch out our wrists here. So we'll start with, we're in this child's pose, okay? I want you to think of pulling the navel up to the ceiling as you tuck the pelvis, kind of pulling the tailbone toward the forehead, all right? So from here, I'm gonna roll through my spine into this big cat, and I'm gonna neutralize my spine, shoulders down. I'm gonna start with my chin, tuck the chin. Roll through that upper part, pushing into the floor, really pulling the tailbone toward the forehead as you shift back into that child's pose. We'll go one more set of those. They should feel good. So tuck the tailbone, lift the navel, pull the ribs back, roll through the lower part of the spine, middle, upper, lift the chin away, pull the shoulders down, tuck that chin. Exhale, round through the upper back, the middle, the lower, really pushing yourself back. And come on up to that quadruped position. I'm going to sit my left hip down and come up to a comfortable seated position. So I'm not going to let you guys worry about getting into any hip stuff here. So the knees can be bent, they can be crossed, comfortable. Okay, so I'm going to sit like this. I'm going to bring my arms forward. Okay, so when my arms reach forward, I don't want to round my upper back yet. Okay, I want to sit up tall. I want my shoulders down. And I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to pull them toward my outer part of my arm as I reach through the heel of the hand, opening the chest, but not letting those ribs pop open, right? Getting a wrist stretch here. Closing the fingers toward the inner part of the arms and go the other way. Really try to pull those fingers back behind you. Reach through the heel of the hand and come back. This is so good for you. And open. Reach, reach, reach. Belly is tight. This is kind of undoing your plank, okay? Shake out your wrists. It should feel really good. Okay, so from here, let's just curl ourselves down. We'll finish with some stretches, okay? So seated tall, spine flat, pull the navel in, knees are bent, just roll yourself down. As you go down, really adjust those shoulders and go slow. Yes. And come on down to the mat. There we go. So from here, we're going to take our left leg, extend it long, pull the right knee into the chest, okay? And from here, I'm going to circle that knee out to the side. I'm going to bring it back in, and I'm trying to keep my left hip pulling down, okay? So I'm just circling in that kind of joint where the femur kind of sinks into that pelvis hip joint, okay? Pause, we're going to reverse it. Trying to keep that left hip down, using that left side here to stabilize the pelvis. And one more. Kind of letting the arm do the work. Extend the leg to the ceiling, flex the foot. Reach through that leg that's on the floor. And now try to imprint the spine. So as you imprint that lower back, I want you to feel the opening here in that hip flexor. And then I'm going to draw that right leg in with a little flex. Just going to find a stretch that works for me. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Pulling the navel to the floor, imprinting that low back and drawing the leg in, reaching through the left. Bend that knee, we'll go up one more time. Up with the leg, flex with the foot, draw the leg in, shoulders down. And bend that knee, extend the right leg, draw that left knee in. So while you're here, you're getting yourself set up and organized. I want you to pull the belly down to the floor so that you get that right hip opening. Draw that knee in and use the arms to circle. It doesn't have to be big. I want you to let the leg rest. Okay, so it's kind of the arms are doing the work here. And we'll switch directions. My hips are trying to stay still, pulling my right side down. There's two. One. And then extend that leg up, okay? And don't over pull, okay? Imprint the low spine so that you still get that hip opening as you draw the leg towards you. Let the shoulders pull down to the mat. Flexing. Hold it. Try to keep that imprint. Pull that belly down. Bend the knee. And we'll go up one more time. Extend. Pull the belly down. So I want you to try to imprint the navel to the floor. And then bend. Knees are gonna bend, we'll get ourselves set up, okay? And then I'm gonna extend my legs, reach my arms up to the ceiling. All right. Now I'm gonna bring my arms overhead. And here's a fun little kind of relaxation stretch. So I want you to tighten every muscle first, from the toes to the calves, to the buns and the quads. Really squeeze everything. Now think of the upper body. Reach, reach, reach through those hands. Let the shoulders come up, tighten up everything, and let it all go. Ready? We're gonna do one more like that. It's really fun. All right, starting from the toes. Squeeze the buns. Tighten up every muscle you can. Belly, belly, belly. Reach through those arms. Let the shoulders reach to. Pull them up. Try to feel that side waist. And then let it all go. Oh, and you can stay here all day if you want, because you are done. Bend the knees. And lower the hands and you push yourself up. That's how you should get out of bed. Right? Okay, you're done. Good job.